So if you were to, use like a sound bite or like a still picture, then it's not a very nice picture. And so, part of the solution is to accept, that reality. Now, having said that, this is a society that has always been prosperous. That is why we were able to build all these monuments, have this kind of cultural, like a heaven almost, for music, for textiles, for everything that we can see, jewelry and all that. But I think every society must realize that we all go through good times and bad times. I mean, if you were having this conversation in the United States the day after the Civil War, how many optimists, would you find? I mean, how many Japanese would be optimistic the day after the 2 atom bombs were dropped? So I think, those of us who have the luxury also of having seen, both worlds, we're going through a difficult time, but the message we are saying is that if you do the right things today, the future will be different. And so the things that we're doing are just samples, but they're indicative of the potential that people have. Now, in terms of resources, look at Europe. It was built by the Marshall Plan. Right? So, look at Norway, look at Japan, look at Korea. All of these countries initially received some help. And so I'm also not of the opinion that help can always be bad. And so, for example, my own education was paid by foreign aid. But then what do I do with that education to help the Nepali people? That's what matters. And so I think, it's a difficult period because you're going right past the conflict, when things are very pessimistic and things are in a bad state. But all I'm saying is that there is enough around us to prove that the future doesn't have to be that way.
And so you are hopeful?
Very hopeful.
Tell me, what is your vision maybe 10 years from now? What does it look like?
So 10 years from now, the society that I envision is basically a society that doesn't wait for solutions. It doesn't wait for others to come up with the solution, but basically people will take the lead and say, I don't have all the solution, but I know how to solve this particular piece. And so if you can think of a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, that's what urban societies are, that everybody has a small piece of the problem. And so the point is, I may do a little bit of composting, I may do a little bit of solar panels, I may do a little bit of rainwater harvesting, but when it aggregates all together, then we basically create a society that we want. And so this leadership is what we seek, and leadership is what you see among the younger generation, and that's where we'll start putting in most of our efforts. Mm-hmm. And so today you see the market here is just a small indication of what Nepalese can do in terms of bouncing back from those very difficult times.